Hello and welcome to Graceful Connections. I'm Sophie Bidard, your host on this journey to gracefully reach for the stars. An adventure of exploration, discovery, healing, liberation, growth, and truthful expression. I'm so grateful that you've chosen to join us today, bringing your unique energy that pours into our circle of connection. Your presence here honors the calling within you to remember you are light, which is what our guest Alicia Power will be sharing with us about today, and that's fascinating for sure. So let's begin. Take a moment to let go of anything that doesn't serve this present moment. With each breath, feel yourself arriving more fully here. As we set our intention, may all that flows within our sacred space, be it words, vibrations, energies, serve the highest evolution of our souls and extend outward in service to all. I invite you to open your heart and your mind to receive all the brilliance that awaits. Activating your connection to the new Earth crystalline grid and to the galactic center, the center of truth. You are perfectly held, both grounded and lifted. You are safe, relaxed, ready, and open to receive. Now I'm calling the orb of grace from the heart of the universe, placing the orb of grace around our gathering, each and every one of us, that we be held in this orb of grace and infused with grace all along our time together. As grace permeates our field, it harmonizes and magnifies all that seeks alignment and illuminates all that longs for expression in accordance with divine will and the order of grace. And breathe. Beautiful. Within the orb of grace, I'm delighted to welcome Alicia Power, master healer and telepath, who has for over 30 years, with direct training from senior spirit mentors, been an envoy of a rare elevated psychic light from the realms of creator beings of universes. What a blessing to have you with us today, Alicia. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Sophie. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. Yes.
I was going to say thank you for inviting these creator beings today and to take us on a journey today. They're excited. They're ready.
Absolutely. And we are ready. So our time together is really dedicated to remembering we are light and receiving the latest insights and guidance from the creator beings, as well as to experience a sacred live spirit process. You're going to be blessed with a real interaction with a senior spirit mentor who knows your soul, who will be taking you into an acceleration opening initiation. For now, let's dive into our fascinating topic, and I'd like to begin with asking you, Alicia, what do the creator beings want us to know, to be aware of, to receive at this moment, and especially what do they have to share to help us remember we are light?
Thank you so much. I'd like to start off, and I just want to mention that, as mentioned, I've been telepathic and being mentored directly by these overseer beings who are overseers of universes, creative beings. They tapped me on the shoulder and became my primary mentor about 34 years ago now. And they're excited about this topic because they're right now wanting me to say that all of you, everyone listening, you're a soul of light and you're an envoy of light. So you're representing the spirit world of light. You're only here briefly as a human, and before being a human, you were light. You're a spirit being of light. And so as a human, you're representing your essence. You're representing what you truly are, which is a being of light. So you're an envoy of light. And as you walk and talk as a human, everything you do, everything you think, everything you say reveals and radiates your light as a soul. Your soul's light comes through you constantly, 100%, all the time. You can't hide it. You can't stop it. You can't block it. Your soul's light pours through you in every moment, in anything you think and in anything that you do. And so this beautiful idea, this beautiful thought that you represent light, you're an envoy of light. And today's topic is this kind of arc or cycle or circle of remembering that you are light. Excuse me, from being light, then becoming human, forgetting your light, to then coming full circle to remembering yourself that you are light. And all of the thoughts and all of the sort of awarenesses around that circle, that full circle of remembering, and the implications of that and the power of that, and what is that? And so what I was going to say was that these overseer beings, these creator beings who have mentored me, we've kind of merged in a way. We've melded somewhere in the world of spirit. And they now, for many decades, for all of these decades, communication is my thing that I love the most. They've melded their consciousness with mine, and so they give me the thoughts, they give me the words, and so everything that's coming through today is from them. We play inside my mind in that interface. We play with that, and sometimes they get me to sort of screech to a halt inside of myself and notice that they're not shouting, but they're saying, hey, make sure you say these words, because otherwise they're giving me a thought deep down and it's coming up, bubbling up, and I'm delivering it through my lens of being Alicia. So there's this beautiful dynamic happening on the inside with the way that I play with these creative beings and how the information comes through. It's just a delight. I just love it. And this topic of going full circle and remembering that you are light is absolutely everything. It's the bottom line dynamic of this entire lifetime of your beginning, being born, growing, and your logic and your sense of self developing and growing through childhood, through adolescence, into early adulthood, and then all the way through your adulthood, and searching for what? Searching for a mirror to see yourself, that you are light, that you are that soul, searching for that, so that you remember. So the entire journey of your human lifetime is to find a mirror and then to start the journey of discovering what that light is that you are. And I just want to, in a really quick kind of knowledge bomb moment, say this one thing, which is the purpose of remembering that you are light is to gather power. Because as you go further and deeper into the remembering that you are light, you know, in the old days, in the ancient traditions, they call it self-realization, realizing what you are, realizing who you are, behind the humanness, behind the self that you're acting out as the human. The self-realization of what is looking through you as a human, the self-realization of that, and the eternity, the eternal nature of that. You are forever light is the topic of today. And the point that they want to make is that the deeper you realize yourself as light, so not only just remembering that you're light, but then there's a deepening of it. And the point of the deepening is for you to gain power over everything. And what I mean by that is over your electromagnetic, shimmering movie screen that's on the outside of you, your external movie screen. And not only that, but also on the inside, how you experience yourself. The deeper you notice and realize yourself as light, and the deeper that opening and awareness of that, you gain more power. And so there's this beautiful reward program happening in the human experience. And the reward is power. It's got nothing to do with gaining success on the outside or delivering projects that your logic thinks it needs to do, or right. So nothing that your finger can touch on the outside has to do with it. The journey is completely on the inside, and I am laughing because as a human, I have this regular conversation with myself. Oh, I haven't published any books yet. Oh, I haven't done this yet. There's so many external projects that the human me would love to do. And I'm constantly being reminded that my journey is not about anything on the outside. It's 100,000,000% the development of my awareness of myself as light. The development of my conscious awareness of myself as light. And the deepening of my power as a consequence. And so I'm giving you guys the main point right at the beginning because I want to dangle a carrot in front of you to keep kind of connected to this conversation that's happening right now, or to the information that's flowing through, because I'm opening up like a loop inside of your mind of, oh my goodness, this is the most important thing in my life, this conversation that's happening now. So the journey to awakening of what I am, of what you are, the journey to awakening to that is more important than anything else on the outside, which of course great sages from the great traditions, wisdom traditions of beyond time have always been saying. They know that this external reality doesn't actually exist, that it's just a mirage, that it's just a temporary dream. They know that, they knew that. And so the purpose of this experience we're having is to gain power. And the power is, let me just see how I can put this. The power is purity of that knowledge. There's no ego connected to it. There's no grasping, as mentioned. There's no trying. There's no pushing. There's no manipulation to get there. It's pure. It's a pure openness, and a pure openness to the journey of remembering. Purity in our heart, in the hunger to remember. So that our hunger is true, pure and true. Not wanting to achieve anything, right? Which is kind of fun because I've just given you a kind of an end goal. And so our logic goes, okay, what do I have to do? How many reps to build up my muscles do I have to do, to get some kind of a result? Okay, so, and I'm saying, hey, the way to get there. Okay, so everyone, here's the secret. Here's the secret, the way to get there. Find spirit mentors who've got power and who've got the jurisdiction, the authority to shortcut your awakening to that knowledge, to those penny drops, just to the awakening of your power as light. So that's one way, and that's the way that I've somehow stumbled upon 35 years ago, after following an Indian spiritual master, a true avatar, for 16 years, with deep meditation practices and beautiful, pure devotion to God Source. And then I opened up my mind to the worlds of spirit, and very, very quickly moved up from training wheels up to very high layers of authority in the worlds of spirit. It wasn't anything I did. They reached down and found me. Again, as mentioned in the promotional text, it truly is a gift. The gift that is given from the worlds of spirit and from mentors that are supporting you, loving you, watching you, encouraging you, tweaking realities for you, to give you opportunities over and over and over again, challenges in front of you that you move through, and then they gauge and assess how you move through the challenges. It's not, a fail or a win. It's not there's no judgment there. They're just taking a look. I'm trying to find an analogy for the way that they just take a look and make an assessment. So interesting. And there's an intimacy to the way they look at you. It's an intimacy to the way they love you. There's an intimacy to the way they put stepping stones in front of you, that your feet they're not there from one minute to the next, and then suddenly there's a stepping stone and you put your foot down on it. There's this incredible marriage of love between them and you and your soul and this human self that's remembering. And so that intimacy, that the beauty of the love between your soul and your soul mentors, your spirit mentors, is so pure, is so holy. So holy. I'm reminded of the current Pope at the time, that we're having this event. He's just been named Pope, Pope Leo XIV. And when you look at this person's face, you can see that he honestly is 1,000,000% devoted to service of humanity and devoted to serving the good in every human. He's not a manipulator. He's not someone who's coming from his ego. He doesn't have fear in his eyes. He's alone with God in his consciousness. And he walks and talks that because he was born in the poorest neighborhoods of Chicago and went to the tiniest little church when he started his life, his family life. And he's worked for decades with the poorest in Peru. This is his passion. His passion is purity, the purity of the human soul. And you can just see that in him. And I think I'm just using that as an example of the relationship that spirit mentors have with you and that we have with our spirit mentors on a journey of awakening. There's a purity between you when you're standing in front of a huge being of light. There's no one else there except you and this being of light. You can't point at any successes in your human life because they look straight past them at the purity of your heart, at the purity of your soul and the truth of the hunger of your soul. That's what they're looking at. And a little bit later on, we're going to have a process where we are going to stand in front of a beautiful being of light, and that being is going to look at our soul. And in that moment, and don't get scared, everybody, scared of being judged by this being. That doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. They see everything. They see the history of your soul. They see all the bumps and the bruises and the fears, but also the hopes. Honestly, everyone, they see the hopes. And to be really honest, that's what they focus on. Right? So everybody here on this call, you're going to be seen like in that most purest way. They're going to drill into the gold in your soul, the beauty of your soul, who your soul really is. And they're going to, and by the way, they're asking me to say that these spirit mentors, that this being that you're going to stand in front of, has so much compassion, so much love, so much encouragement, so bending over backwards, rolling out the red carpet for you, so wanting you to step on that red carpet and feel how easy it is to walk on that red carpet, a life of ease. They are so wanting you to move higher in your awareness of yourself as a soul and as a being of light. So you've got someone cheering you on. You know, you might think, okay, I'm standing in front of this being of light and they're going to be looking at my soul. And what have I got to show them, right? I don't even know who I am as a soul, and I've had a tough life maybe, right? And walked into brick walls a lot. And so you might be quite bruised and going, well, I don't think I've got anything to offer humanity or even myself. And I guess what I'd love to say to you is none of that is going to be looked at by these beings of light. They're going to look at the light that's shining from your soul before you came into this lifetime, who you are as a soul, and the journey of your soul, the whole journey. And by the way, yes, that whole journey as a soul, not as a human. I'm talking about a soul that's had many human journeys. And in those human journeys, there have been many tough times, many challenges. And what they're looking at is your bravery through not just this lifetime, but many lifetimes. So when they look at your soul, they're looking at the stories. They're looking at your hopes. They're looking at this amazing courage. I was just listening to someone recently. They were asked, so do you think you failed in a certain project? And this person said, no, we never fail. This project might not have worked, but we hope and we intend. We hope and we intend, even though this one thing might have failed. So inside of this person, there was never failure. And I felt that bedrock is such an important story for all of our souls, that there's no failures, there's just a quiet determination to keep going. This is what these incredible beings of light find when they look at our soul, and they get excited. They get incredibly excited. So I'm talking about a moment of being in front of the being of light. I'm talking about a journey for our remembering that we are light. And I'm talking about the process of remembering that we are light. And part of that process are these incredible mentors that walk with us right through our life, spirit mentors. The process of activating our remembrance is tied into these spirit mentors. So, and I do want to mention, of course, that here I am after 30 years of communicating and dialoguing clearly with master overseers of universes who've got a light that activates our remembering, actually. It activates our remembering. And because you're listening to me right now, you're connecting to that light. And that light is subliminally dropping in, downloading, activating software into your personal soul light bodies as you're listening right now. Because these creative beings are present. You're connecting to their aura, to their beingness, to their light. And so just a quick mention here is that I've known now for these over 3 decades, that these beings activate awakening. This is why I've been so passionate in doing energy healing, in running groups who get exposed to these very high overseer beings in very high spaces, echelons in the worlds of spirit. And we go there. We stand under waterfalls of their light. We allow their light to change us and to push us into our remembering. So just mentioning that there's a super fast highway into remembering, which is connecting to these creator beings. I don't hang on to these. They're not mine. They're everyone's. Anyone can connect to these overseer beings. And I always mention that the correct way to connect with them, the sturdiest way to make sure that you are connecting to these particular beings, is to follow the sound of my voice in a recorded spirit journey. There's many free ways that you can do that, and I've got many recorded, specifically targeted spirit journeys as well. And I just want to mention that this is a fast way to activate remembering. So just letting everybody know, height of authority in the worlds of spirit really matters. Light is a scientific phenomenon. It's very real. It's very quantum. And light has spheres of influence. Light has layers of influence. I was allowing these beings to speak through me just the other day on the topic of mentoring. And they were talking about this incredible dynamic, this incredible phenomena, that in the worlds of spirit, everything is connected by layers of mentoring. Each one of you is connected to your spirit mentors who are connected to your soul light bodies. There's a beautiful melding happening. Just like you mentor a child in your care, or mentor students in your care, or customers in your care, people, beings that you relate to as a human, friends who you want to support. The system of mentoring is the system of existence. And in the quantum worlds, everything is connected by intention. And intention flows from very high up, close to God's source, where there's emanations of spirit. Worlds of spirit, communities and families of spirit, very high up. And they mentor downwards. They mentor those just below them, who mentor those just below them, and it continues down. And that's the glue of how the spirit world works. It's quite amazing. And sometimes people ask me and say to me, oh, I feel embarrassed and a little bit ashamed to ask my spirit guides for help. And so if you said that to a spirit guide, they would kind of reframe that to say, have you any idea how important it is to them as a spirit guide to help you? Because it's the only and it's the ultimate way the spirit world is constructed. So it's very important for them to mentor. And so rather than be ashamed to ask for help, it's the other way around. It's like you're giving them an opportunity to love, support, and lift you up and grow you into your full power. So their job and their opportunity is right there when you ask for help. I sometimes giggle because I've been playing with this for a little while, and there's so much joy in this entire topic. Honestly, it's so beyond anything to do with humans, being a human. It's really just soul. A soul with its mentor and layers of mentors above. So you've got mentors closer to you, and then you've got layers of mentors even above that, and then above that, and above that, and levels of authority, of power keep going up. And you do have the ability, and let me just say something like, what's the word? It's okay for you to reach up to very high layers of mentors who would love to kind of send a line of light and love down through all those layers of mentoring, of mentors and of spirit guides directly to you, so you can connect up to very high layers of spirit guides and spirit mentors. It's totally okay to do that, cutting through all the red tape and the layers of mentoring. Totally okay. Great shortcut, because that line of light that starts coming down to you, just making sure you're connecting to the right people, of course, and dialing the right phone number when you go up there. It's a shortcut because their light is different. Their light is like a laser light through a cake. It's so intensely capable of changing you, of upgrading you in an instant, in a split second. This is how they work. This is the power of these higher spirit guides, higher spirit mentors, overseers. Just mentioning how it works, how the layers of mentoring work, and how there's a high value there for you. I'm so kind of excited to talk about this because it's just so important. I'm just wanting to come back to your remembering yourself as light, and just because we were talking about the value of reaching for your spirit guides and what type of spirit mentors you can reach for and why that's valuable, why there's a faster result there, letting everybody know that this is real. And the exciting thing is that beyond this human lifetime, this keeps going. I talk to people who've passed over. They're in kind of cohorts or teams that are being mentored by beings above them. They're being given roles and new jobs, and they still have mentors above them to usher them and guide them into the new roles and to help them and to still uplift them, because that movement up into growth, into empowerment still happens after you pass over. That's why I get excited, because, yep, we're human, but boy, the soul journey is so eternal. It's so forever. It's so kind of beyond just this single human lifetime. And, many of us are getting a little bit older. Some of us aren't, and talking about this in this way can kind of be exciting, because you go, oh, I don't just stop when I pass over. No, there's huge adventures to be had. And there's so much love to be enjoyed. So much beauty and love to be felt once you've passed over. So much homecoming to be experienced. Homecoming as in, sure, the soul goes back to the soul communities and to the teams of mentors that are following you. But you can imagine the glorious explosion of love of that meeting. And sure, you look back over your shoulder and you go, okay, I've just had a life, a human life. But the love, right, the kind of sphere of love that you come back into, and that you remember how powerful it is as you're coming back into it after you've passed over, is so potent, is so powerful. Just describing this because, there's a dawn to be looked forward to. It's not just this human life. Just mentioning that, everyone. And yet, there's this kind of trick, this kind of tease of this human life. What's it for? You know, birth date, death date. What's it for? What's the dash in between for? And we mentioned it right at the beginning. It's all on the inside. It's the movement through challenges. It's the walking with spirit mentors. I'm very passionate about inviting people on the inside to turn to their own spirit guides, their own spirit mentors, and chat. Have two-way dialogues with them. Get used to walking as a human, but being in another world at the same time, and being able to turn your attention on the inside to that love, to that powerful, powerful sense of support from your spirit mentors. So that dash between a birth date and a death date, what's it for? It's to walk on the inside and ask for initiations from your spirit guides, from your spirit mentors, into them pulling away the veil from your eyes, pulling away the veil from your mind, pulling away the shades, I'm trying to find the right word there, from your inner consciousness, because you're walking and talking very preoccupied with your thoughts and with all the projects and with everything that's happening on the outside. And we're just talking about the purpose of this life, of this human life. And I'm talking about turning to your spirit guides, asking for initiations into remembering. And in that moment, it's a gift from your spirit guides, from your spirit mentors, to pull those veils away over and over again, deepening your realization, your self-realization, deepening. That, guys, is the journey right there. That is the process of remembering. So you can hear, as I'm describing this, that there's a very intimate relationship with your spirit guides, a very purposeful, very powerful reason to be communicating with your spirit guides, because the purpose of this life can be fulfilled faster, deeper, in that intimacy of that relationship with your spirit mentor. I sometimes think to myself, why is it that I, as a young person, I started off my started off my life thinking, I went to university and studied English literature and all sorts of different things, thinking I was going into journalism. And then at university, I got completely sidetracked. And I started following this Indian spiritual master. And that was my life. I dedicated my life to awakening from the age of 18. And I think to myself, I've lived this life. And most of this last 3.5 decades, I've been talking about connecting to your spirit guide. And I think to myself, what is that about? And right now, we're talking about what that is about, which is, it's putting the finger so precisely and accurately on the purpose of this life, on the entire purpose of this life, which is on a soul level, which is to remember yourself as light. And the way to do that is to have communication with your spirit mentors. And by the way, just mentioning that communication with your spirit mentors opens up opportunities for you to ask for faster realization, for them to ask, would you like to move faster into realization? And to have agreements. This is the opportunity. This is the reason to talk with your spirit guides, to create agreements, to speed up those initiations. And that's the reason I think I was 31, 32, I just knew I had to help people talk to their spirit guides. So interesting. If I look over my life and I think, right, that is the reason, because you're punching your fist through the veil. You're noticing that this world is not real, that only your soul is real, and that your soul is walking and talking in a human life. And that over time, the soul that's looking out of your eyes remembers itself and becomes available to radiate and to show itself into this physical dimension, to show itself into this physical dimension. And that's a beautiful thing. Your light showing itself, pouring itself into this physical dimension, into your reality. And for you to be led by your soul and led by your spirit mentors in a beautiful collaboration with 100% honoring of your free will. This is the incredible, I just want to mention, this is the incredible dynamic of you and your spirit mentors, is that they have to ask you permission to grow you up. They have to somehow wave their hand in front of your eyes and say, we're here and we've got a question. Would you like us to speed up your remembering of yourself as light? You see, because they've got to actually ask you for permission. And that's the reason in my entire adult life I've been asking people to turn around on the inside and start talking to their spirit guides. Because your spirit guides are hoping that you turn to them and start talking with them so that they can awaken you. And how do they awaken you? I just want to mention, what a great question. How do they awaken you on the inside? And those of you who've heard me speak before know that as an energy healer and watching spirit technicians work in the auric fields, in the soul light bodies, inside and the incredible anatomies of the different soul light bodies, and work with light waves and work with psychic software. You know that if you say yes to their query to you that, hey, would you like us to speed up your awakening to the fact that you are light? Excuse me. When you say yes to that, what happens next? Well, there's a certain flurry of activity, I could say, in permissions given to many teams of spirit surgeons and spirit technicians who very carefully start lifting old carpets and looking under the carpet, opening up old cans of worms, going into soul wounds, reconfiguring fear software, strengthening the sort of base, strengthening the base of your soul light bodies, strengthening the scaffolding, pulling out any fragility in that light scaffolding in all of your light bodies, soul light bodies. But also they've got permission, because you said yes, they've got permission to, this is interesting, to rewire your prefrontal cortex, your conscious self, where you're thinking on a conscious level, They've got permission to come around the front and rewire the prefrontal cortex and connect it into your unconscious, in their wiring, in your electromagnetic field. They've got permission to do that. So they've got permission to do a lot of different things in the complexity of your multi-bodied energy field that they can see. And they work with very easily and quickly. So I'm just mentioning that rewiring starts happening very specifically, in great detail, and also they're mentioning to me to say right now very carefully so that you don't get any surprises, so that you walk forward in a pretty stable way, pretty comfortable way, but challenges start happening to you. They do. By the way, there's this amazing dynamic that as you're meeting a challenge, you've got an opportunity to notice that the external world isn't real in that moment. And that is a gold star, right? They give you a gold star when you have a moment like that, where you notice that the external world's not real. Because in that moment you relax, in that moment you feel a bit more comfortable, in that moment you know that you've got help, invisible hands on the movie screen. You're not in this alone. So there's a few things that just quickly, clickety-click, that happen in that moment that you realize that this physical dimension's not real. So in a moment of challenge, I was just saying, as you walk, you've given permission to accelerate the remembering, they start creating initiation moments, and these are challenges, but they make sure that you kind of stay stable and comfortable as you move through these. And the purpose of them, these moments of challenge, the purpose of these moments is for you to notice that the physical world's not real and that you are this vast being of light. And those little tiny penny drops are not logical. So you can't read a book and have those moments of aha. You have to walk through it. You've got to feel it. You've got to know it as a truth. And it's an indelible truth. It just drops really, really deep like a big stone. Excuse me, in a pond. That moment of realization sort of drops and never goes away. And then keeps building. Might be a moment. So evidence builds, and that evidence becomes huge. And so eventually you're walking with a big knowing, with a really big knowing, with a real sense of leaning back into all the help, leaning back into, the team, you and your team, leaning back into it and really honestly walking with that sense and celebrating that. And there's such power in that. There's such sort of cohesiveness in that. Anything that happens that's kind of breaks, things are breaking around you, right? Things are falling apart around you. And you revert back to the knowing that this physical dimension's not real. Because that realization's not just a thought. It's not something you just read in a book. You had real experiences. Your foot, they're giving me this funny picture of you putting your foot in something not very pleasant on the footpath. That is not the right analogy. but they're giving me that as an analogy because it sticks. Right? So as you keep walking forward, it doesn't go away. That memory stays with you if things are falling apart in your life. And huge challenges are sometimes with us in our life. And there's this, and there can be the more you walk with your guides, right? There can be such a stability in you. Such a stability. And then there's this really beautiful moment where you can turn around to your guides and stamp your foot and go, hey guys, everything's falling apart in my life. Or this is happening, or something's happening, right, on the outside. In your physical dimension, you stamp your foot and you're looking at your guides going, that's not okay. Can you guys help put everything back together again, right? So there's this kind of sort of knowing that they can put it back together again. I'm saying it 100%, 100% they can. But the beauty is that, like a child, you've turned to them and going, hey, what's going on? You guys, help put this 3D movie back together again. This is true, everybody. And I'm going to be very upfront here and say the thing that I know many of you have already understood, and that there's nobody else here except you. You're in your own classroom for masters. So if I say there's nobody else here except you, there's a moment where you turn to your spirit guides and point at some external reality that's falling apart and say to them, I've got, with your help, spirit mentors, we've got full control over this movie. So can you guys come in with your expertise and shift everything? Just mentioning that, because when you realize that that's the truth, there's a lot of power to that. You're not alone in how the external movie moves and shifts. You've got very powerful hands that can move and shift that external reality, as your spirit mentors are your support crew in that walking, talking as a human. Just mentioning that because you can experiment with that, everybody. I really highly recommend that you experiment with it. So important. Just going to just lean back and right now and just check with these spirit mentors to see what they want to say, what these creative beings want to say. And they're just telling me they're having such a joyride right now talking about this because it's exhilarating for them. It's kind of, they're saying to me, this is the conversation everybody has to have. This is the conversation that is important. You're not alone. And you've got super high layers of mentors that can swoop in and make changes quickly in your own inner state, in how you're viewing everything on the outside, in how you're viewing yourself, and also in that journey to remembering that you are forever light. The remembering of that all important pulling away of the veil in that journey. They're there. So just a lovely summary right there. And they're just enjoying this conversation because it really is like the conversation of your lifetime. And just to help you remember that this is what it's all about. Sophie, do you have any questions? I'd love to hear any questions.
Well, it's funny because I was pondering how I had a number of questions and they all got answered on the way without me verbalizing them. You know, I was wondering, for example, remembering the light, I was wondering like, is it an invitation or is it a command? And that's where you talked about the free will. So you covered this, then you covered about how, which was a question also that I had, how do they awaken us from the inside, right? So that was covered. And I think, well, as the telepath that you are, you picked up on all my questions and those from the audience, I guess. One thing I'd like to make a comment actually on the perspective of how it shifts us, for me, how it shifts me, remembering that I am light. What I was shown is how, so one thing, and that's important for me to take away as well, that when things fall apart, we can work with our spirit mentors and ask them to reorganize the 3D world and to rebuild something. So that I'm making a side note of that. But what I was being shown is how when I remember that I am light, then I have this knowing that as I enter a room, I light it up. right? And
Mm.
if I enter a room of darkness, I bring light there. And it can be literally entering a room, or it can be symbolically. But the point is that with that knowing, that remembering, with that knowing, then there is no more fear. If there was any fear of entering the room, then this knowing dissolves the fear. Knowing that whatever I encounter, I meet it as being the light. And whatever I step into, I bring the light to it. And with that, the fear of the unknown, the fear of darkness, and I'm sure a whole bunch of other types of fears, they just disappear and dissolve. And we gain tremendous courage and empowerment, right? And instead
Mm.
of being trapped in the restricted human beliefs and behaviors, shall I do this? Shall I go there? I don't know. This looks dark. This feels scary. We are really liberated to expand in the free of expression of our soul. And I felt that this is, to me, this means a lot. The ability to enter any room, to go any place, to encounter anything, right?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. You carry it with you. You carry your spirit mentors with you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are faced with an energy that's not comfortable, I'm instantly, right here, there's a moment of mentoring in this topic. Excuse me. So if you're standing in front of an energy that's not comfortable, you're kind of locked in with your guides because you're so used to living beyond this physical veil, I guess. And you're working with your guides a lot, and you're kind of knowing that they're there. And so in a moment like that, where there's an uncomfortable energy in front of you, you're instantly involving your spirit mentors in that moment. You're instantly inviting them to support your auric field, because the auric fields are quite permeable energetically. Lower fields, the more human field. The higher fields are not so permeable. And so as a human, you're with your guides, and they instantly bring their highlight energy into your auric field. That's absolutely exactly what they do. They instantly instruct you or say to you to do whatever, right? Whatever needs to be done in that moment. This is what happens to me. They instantly tell me what the energy is in front of me. They let me know what it is immediately, telepathically. And they say, this is kind of 100% crazy, not good. I recommend you turn around and walk out. They can say that to me. Absolutely, they would say something like that to me if it was like that. Or if just somebody's in front of me and they feel a little bit complicated, and my guides will say to me, "Oh, look, there's a big childhood wound in that person, and that's the reason that they're a little bit complicated." And so suddenly, in me is compassion. Suddenly I'm understanding, and suddenly I'm supporting that person gently from a beautiful, softer place inside of myself. So there's so many kind of ways, and I'm very practical, as you can hear, right? Mm-hmm. There's kind of tools, there's kind of practices, there's kind of sort of repeated ways that I work with my guides, like instantaneously, because I just know that they're right there with me. So I'm used to them helping me in any moment, and lots of different ways that they help me. Not only just rewiring me, but telling me things, showing me something in my mind. So many different ways. And so I'm walking with them in lots of, but what you're saying is something that I relate to with what you're saying is that beyond one's own soul wounds, beyond one's own subtle unconscious fears that might be in the deep unconscious or from ancient soul wounds might be there. What begins to grow is a depth of connection to a very powerful light. This is very important actually in this conversation right now. there's a connection to a light that's beyond all shadow. And when I'm talking about the overseer beings, the creator beings, these beings that are beyond all shadow, they're beyond universes, beyond games of shadow and light. And what begins to happen when you're working with the creator beings is that as you keep walking forward in your life, the more you connect with these creator beings and work with their light, whether it's just listening right now, is that light starts to change the base platform of the wiring, even beyond any kind of spiritual sort of talk or spiritual description I could give you. Excuse me. The best way I can actually describe it is the actual wiring in all your soul bodies has a download to it, and there's a mix in there in the light waves of a kind of light that's beyond all shadow. This is so amazing. And as a human, you start to know that there's a safety. Really honestly, genuinely, everyone. You start to feel a base safety. I think you were talking about that, Sophie.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, a real kind of beyond all shadow safety. Because you've got partnerships that are beyond shadow. And yeah, so, and that's really important, that this light from these creator beings, I don't know, it just holds power, so much power. It's a beautiful result. It really is. It's a beautiful result of connection and connecting to these creator beings, the light from these creator beings. It does something to you. It changes you. And it changes you at that deepest base platform. And I'm talking not as a human, but just even as a soul. The makeup of your soul light bodies has a mix of light in it from the creator being level, from that sort of overseeing level of light, mixed in with all of the other kinds of light that's sitting in all your beautiful waveforms and all your beautiful soul bodies. And that actually, there's a real, I mean, if you're going to talk about commands, there's a real sort of a command feeling in that light. It's sort of beyond the way that we think as humans. The light itself has a bit of a command vibe around shadow. Yes, it's very powerful around shadow. Just want to say that. And that's why you can sort of lean back a little bit unconsciously in a sense of safety inside of you.
Yeah. That's definitely what I was trying to bring up, because your sharing brought tears to my eyes. That's right. That's what it is about, and it feels tremendous. Walking the earth with that sense of safety is a whole different journey, I guess. So yeah, thank you.
Totally agree.
Thank you. Wow. Thank you for this whole transmission. I think this is one to listen to many times, because it is so packed with insights and different layers of perspective. So thank you for this delivery, this offering, this communication, Alicia, and creator beings. Now, today, you are not only here to communicate and offer perspectives, as you did this masterfully just now, but also before we get into experiencing a little bit later, experiencing meeting with a spirit mentor, you're here also to invite us to work with them, right? And to practically, let's get to work together practically to benefit from their support, from their guidance, and for that, you have created a wonderful offering, Ascension Bundle, a bundle of 3 profound and powerful online courses with the creator beings, and we'd love to hear all about it. So for everyone to follow, you can go to gracefulconnections.com/Alicia5. That's Alicia and digit 5. If you're on the webcast, you have a button and a link. You can click there to get to the page. If you're on the replay, just scroll down the page and discover Alicia's special offer. Alicia, please reveal what you've created for our audience.
Yes. I'm just thrilled that these creative beings through me have created packages and collections of spirit journeys that take you into the worlds of spirit, and where you can stand in front of spirit mentors or spirit technicians who expertly can rewire your soul fields into upgrades and also pull out fears, patches of fear energy from current life experiences, but also from ancient, old, historic soul wounds, from the Akashic records, from other old human lifetimes, and even soul existences way before human lifetimes. So these collections of spirit journeys are beyond potent, and you can just re-listen to them anytime. These are great tools. They're a tool because they take you correctly to the right coordinate spot in time and space, in the worlds of spirit, in space, in spirit space. They take you to these spirit journeys, recorded spirit journeys, lift you to the right spot with the correct teams, and then invite you to do things with these spirit mentors. And these mentors speak to you, or you have moments where they encourage you to reveal to them what's going on for you in your life. So these collections are quite priceless because you can use them forever, for the rest of your life. Just jump into one of these recorded spirit journeys, step in front of one of these spirit mentors, and begin a process, but it's live and fresh every single time. It's relating to what's happening as a snapshot in that moment that you're there in front of them. And so every time you go there, it's new. Just mentioning that. So these are very powerful tools in the worlds of spirit. Let's have a look. So the first one is incredible. It's a collection called Uplift on Light. 7 30-minute spirit journeys. And these are targeted soul healings where spirit technicians, in a very targeted way, have you in front of them. And, let's see, for example, one of them is they target beliefs from past lives. This is an advanced one where they'll take you into a journey where you, for a very split second, I'm talking about just tiniest moment, you have a revelation and a memory from a past life, but it's enough for them to follow that feeling down, like a tip of the iceberg, down to where it's all sitting in your Akashic records. That's all they need is a split second of you connecting with something. And they actually, each one just takes you into a moment like that. So there's beliefs from past lives. Another one, they rewire your self-love. And in the process, there's a little bit of self-reflection. There's a moment where you touch a moment or a feeling inside of you through the reflection. It's a little bit of workshopping with you noticing something on the inside, and they instantly start traveling in as soon as you do. So they're prompting you to check in with yourself, and then they work deep inside your auric field and rewiring. Self-love, another one, is fear in your heart. And sometimes it's from just things globally, it's just overwhelming and too much, and the heart starts feeling fear. So there's a specific rewiring to release that, to find it in your heart chakra, which is a multi-layered, multi-level, almost infinite library, where they find some of those deeper wounds that connect with that feeling that might be happening right now for you. and just rewire really deeply in all those levels. And then there's another one, which is self-image upgrade. The way that you think about yourself. This is really interesting because this can change your life. This particular one is about rewiring the way you think about yourself. You can imagine how that could change your life, how your decision-making changes. It's nearly everything. This is the base platform from where you come inside yourself, your point of view about yourself. This is actually the journey that I've taken with them. This is the rewiring they've done with me over those 30 years. So I am sort of sitting where I am now, kind of in spiritual leadership in a way. This is what they've done with me. They've rewired the way I think about myself. So they're in cahoots with my soul and coaxing my soul, to step forward more and more and more and more and more, right? Self-image upgrade, rewiring, beautiful one there. Then there's another one, which this one's amazing, called effective prayer initiation. And I just want to say quickly, guys, this particular little 30-minute process or spirit journey is very carefully designed to help you on the inside gently, gently calm down, connect with your heart. And in this spirit journey, you find yourself in front of a huge angelic being. And in that moment, you get an opportunity to say what you need for your life. It's a prayer moment. But I just want to say that the worlds of spirit negotiate all of the feelings deep in you, deep inside of you, until there's an openness in that moment where you're in front of that angelic being, so that the angelic being catches the instruction from you correctly. Because if you're running down the road or driving down the road and you're in a rush and you send out a little thought and a prayer, that's a very different moment to lining up your unconscious, taking your time, and the world of spirit mentoring you into a moment of deep quiet, being in presence, your heart open, and sending an intention and a prayer and an instruction to a very powerful master being. Very different connection moment. That's what happens in that one. Effective prayer initiation, meaning that the worlds of spirit get it. They catch your prayer deeply, and that it's very quantum, right? So the deeper your presence, you're being present, the deeper the spirit world can create a result for you in your quantum movie. The next one, just really quickly, is called Core Soul Upgrade. And I just want to mention that this one is so profound. The next two, the last two, are just so profound. They're just off the scale. And I sort of couldn't believe, honestly, and to this day, I can't believe that my spirit mentors wanted this one in this collection. It's so profound. So they travel. You get taken into deep stillness, and the spirit technicians travel so far, so long down your soul history, way past all human lifetimes. And they find the originating moment of your soul and the originating wound that happened there. And they transmute that wound. So that starts traveling back all the way from that moment back to now, and it frees you up as a soul. That is that one. That's so powerful. It's like an earthquake to that base of your soul, the way it's kind of structured. And then the last one, again, I couldn't believe that they had this one as part of the collection, Creating Heaven Initiation. It's called an initiation because it's not just a healing. It's really an initiation. It's a powerful upgrade. Literally, in this particular rewiring with the worlds of spirit, you're lifted into a higher parallel universe, into a slipstream of love. And that's why it's called Creating Heaven. And your soul is plugged into a higher force field permanently. So everyone, just letting you know, it's like a collection of 7 amazing processes and initiations. Very, very powerful. I've just taken a little bit of time there because I don't often kind of go into the detail, so much detail in describing this particular, oh my gosh, what's really going on in these 7 journeys. And it's so juicy, it's so powerful that I just sort of had to slow right down and let everybody know what's really going on there. Wow. And that's just in that very first one. There's 3 very, very, very powerful opportunities to be with these high ranges of spirit light and these vast armies of spirit technicians. So there's 7, right, packaged in that. And then we go into this incredible 1.5 hour opportunity of forensic traveling in to your soul, layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of soul history and soul wounds, just gently, just slowly, but so forensically, so detailed. It's such a scrub on the inside. An hour and a half. And with this one, with the hour and a half, just letting you know that we start straight away. It's like there's 5 minutes of chatting where I introduce, and then we're traveling into the worlds of spirit. Like for an hour and a half. It's just, and the worlds of spirit are so happy because they can take their time. It's an hour and a half. They've got a lot to do. They take their time scanning your soul, vast soul bodies that travel right up into the worlds of spirit, taking a look at the stories. They create a checklist of what they have to do, and then the armies of spirit technicians arrive, and you are worked on for such a long time. So just letting you know that this is huge, just such a huge renovation is a good word. And all of it is to stabilize you for right now that there's a lot of body symptoms, psychological symptoms, emotional symptoms, because everything's erupting, because the background light in the quantum is kind of at a pitch of intensity. It's kind of vibrating so intensely in the background quantum that as humans, we're reacting. Where, there could be circumstances that are starting to get uncomfortable, or we're just feeling tired and we're just feeling emotional, or we're just feeling like we're just, feeling really uncomfortable in all sorts of different ways. So this is for alignment. This is like cleaning up so that more light can come in, so there's an alignment. And the teams that are working on you are super high authority. We've talked about a high authority light. So very high authority technician teams. And that means that when they're going into your soul wounds and your soul Akashic records, they're moving fast because they've got the authority to move fast. All of it's done correctly, all the way down through lots and lots of different agreements and gateways, and everyone who needs to be talked to and department heads of your soul, mentors, are all talked to. Everything is done correctly. I'm talking about speed, but there are no shortcuts in the protocols. Everything's done correctly. So that's a very powerful one, by the way, everyone, just mentioning that. It's super powerful. And the last one is really amazing. It's an amazing workshop for actually for an hour and a half, where you've got pen and paper out, and it is an initiation. There's a moment where you're going into your spirit journey with the worlds of spirit, and you're standing in front of spirit mentors. They're asking you if you want to accelerate, and you give them permissions. And the entire conversation is about putting you on the right train tracks to fulfill your soul mission in this lifetime. So this is a potent hour and a half workshop. You've got, again, pen and paper out. They're inviting you to have self-reflection moments and writing. And their rewiring of you in this one is all about aligning you on the inside in order for your soul to shine and fulfill its mission in this lifetime, to speed it up in its fulfillment. of its soul mission in this life. Very, very powerful, guys. Thank you, Sophie. I've really enjoyed describing everything. I'm just so thrilled. I'm just so thrilled as a package that I'm inviting everyone to go into this bundle. It's just and it's so, I've just brought, the fees right down, just lowering lowering the entry so that everyone can jump in.
Yes, thank you. I was going to say it is very generously priced.
So yes.
Yeah, and there is a PayPal for payment option available in many countries, so making it even more accessible. Now, one side question I have, Alicia, is this for anyone wherever we are on our journey? I suppose it is so, because you said we can use it forever, so it grows with us. I suppose the creator beings meet us wherever we are, whether we are at the beginning of our journey or more advanced. But can you please address this?
Absolutely. The world of spirit is very exact in understanding where you're at in your awareness of who you are. They're very exact with seeing that and assessing that. And so when you're in front of a spirit being, or when you're on that spirit journey and in these processes, they're meeting you precisely, like their precision is incredible, of what they're bringing to you and what they're helping you see and feel. And the more, if you're feeling like you're not seeing anything or feeling anything, my recommendation is, because I've got lots of courses that are entry-level courses and slowly help you notice the world of spirit right at the beginning of that kind of development of noticing what's going on. So what I was going to say was, practice makes perfect. In the world of spirit, it really is like, you could say, and they're giving me this analogy straight away right now, it's like walking into a dark room and you've just been out in the sunlight, and you walk into a dark room and your eyes start slowly noticing the shapes. And after a while, you can see everything, because your, I guess, the light rods or something in your irises, they will expand or something. I don't know how it works. But you're suddenly able to see. That's what it's like working with the world of spirit. The more often, actually, you jump into these spirit journeys. And it is about just being quiet and being very present, being present with it. That's the trick, everyone, is quietening down. Quietening your mind down and noticing that things are going on that haven't got anything to do with your mind. And you get used to picking up things from the bigger part of you rather than your mind. That's a big clue. Another big clue is switch on pretend mode, because when you switch on pretend and imagination mode, you push the mind out of the way, in a way. And you kind of give yourself permission to notice what's going on without your logic. So there's all sorts of ways to play with that. But the big one is, the more often you dive into these spirit journeys, the easier it is to notice what's going on. And I want to mention that if somebody's very advanced of playing with their spirit mentors in the worlds of spirit, they know that exactly. They know you. And they will show up for you to take you to your next stage. There's no doubt about it. You see, it's my voice, but it's them that's doing the work. It's them that show up. They're the ones that are looking at you, not me. They're the ones that are mentoring you in those moments. And, you've got a Ferrari in front of you. Jump into the Ferrari and take it on a speed, on a run. It's like that you've got super high authority beings standing in front of you. You can test them out. Check it out. If you're someone who's jumping in for the first time, don't know my work, but you're advanced, I encourage you to play with these overseer beings and have conversations with them and ask them who they are. Ask them to describe themselves to you. Ask them what their scope of capability is. In fact, you should do that with any spirit mentor, so that your logic kind of understands who you're working with. Anyway, I encourage all levels to play with them. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sophie. Great
Yeah, thank
question.
you. Thank you. And thank you for really putting together and offering this, the exclusivity of this really exceptional bundle. Thank you. That's very appreciated for Graceful Connections. So everyone, we're going to now have a wonderful, certainly extraordinary experience. Make sure to stay with us throughout our time together and after the process, as we'll be sharing a special announcement at the end of our gathering, and that's one you will not want to miss. For now, I think now is the good time to get the experience of a sacred live spirit process. Alicia, if there's anything you would like to share about this process, anything we need to know, please share, and then let's dive right into it.
Thank you. And with all of my work, I am on the threshold, the welcome mat of this process with all of you. And I just watch and follow what they're doing and what they want to unfold for us. So many times I have conversations before we jump into spirit journeys, and they are sort of revealing to me and showing to me what they want to do. But also many times I'm just standing on the welcome mat with you all, and they will just do the process, will reveal what they want to reveal, move us into whatever process that they want in this moment. That's why it's just such a delight. I'm just with you all. So it's great. It's going to be fun. We're going to be with a spirit mentor, and we will have an opportunity. This is actually something that's important. They're just reminding me something that's very important for all of us to know is we've talked about how your spirit mentors move you into remembering, how they rewire you into remembering. And one of parts of the process is having a moment in front of a spirit mentor where you ask for that. And that gives them permission to make changes in your life and also in the speed with your ability to remember, to close that gap of remembering. So this is going to be one of those moments. It's going to be a gift moment. They're going to be quietly standing there, and they will ask you. You're going to say to them, yes, yes, this is what I want. And so, in a sense, it's going to be a gift moment. So there you go. That's what we're about to do, which is like for your soul in this entire lifetime. Wow. If you've come here to this moment with one of these high spirit mentors, and you're going to get an opportunity to say, yes, I want to accelerate my remembering of my light. So, might be a moment. All right, everyone. Let's close our eyes and take a deep breath, everyone. A few deep breaths. Couple of deep breaths. I'm going to invite you to pretend someone's standing in front of you. It's a being of light. This is not the main mentor that we're going to be connecting with. It's someone who's going to hold our hand and, like Peter Pan and Wendy, is going to help us fly up into a specific spot where we're going to meet our mentor. So this is kind of like an escort being of love and light, an angelic being. So switching on pretend mode, everyone, and noticing that this being standing in front of you. And I'm going to invite you to stretch your imaginary hand out and take their hand, which is getting stretched out towards you, and just hold their hand and squeeze it. Gorgeous little moment of acknowledgement. And notice now that this being actually is quite tall and has got huge wings. And those wings now wrap around you lovingly to create safety. And let's start traveling up a beautiful column of light that's just swished around us, and it's like an elevator. Let's start traveling up higher and higher and higher and higher, higher and higher. Traveling up, everybody, and way above us is a sparkle of light, like a star just twinkling above us. And we're moving up now through an energy membrane. And it's like a stargate. It's like a portal. So we're just moving up in the arms of our angel through this kind of energetic membrane, through a beautiful stargate, and up above it. And we are now actually right close to the sphere of light. This beautiful sphere of light, it's huge. Your angel escort being with you wrapped in their wings, you're shooting like so fast straight into the center of this great sphere of light. And we come to a pause now in the center of this giant sphere of light. This angelic being unfolds its wings and steps back. And in front of you, just appearing in front of you, from out of the light, is a very tall being. This is a very high authority being, a being of love, a being of light. And just for a moment, this being is going to just look at you. It's sensing into you. It's feeling into your Akashic records. It's feeling into who you are as a soul. It's quite amazing because I'm just noticing this being is sending a ray of light deep into you and is healing you. This ray of light is like is an extension of its consciousness, and it's kind of moving through you very gently like a wave. And where this light is touching, where this ray of light is touching, it's just healing you softly, clearing stuck energy, doing a little tidy up. And now it's just stopped. It's withdrawing this laser light, and it wants to ask you a question. It's telling me, this being is saying to me, it's excited in this moment. It wants to ask you a question. It's asking, who do you want to become in this physical lifetime? And in your mind, this is a beautiful moment for you. Say to them what your answer is. Who do you want to become in this physical lifetime? And now this being is asking, would you like them to help you? This being is saying, would you like them to help you release fear and accelerate your remembering of yourself as light? And this is a moment for you to notice if that's true for you and let them know. So I'm being prompted to say to everybody on this call that you can stay here with this being and continue having a conversation with them. You can ask them questions, or you can continue to describe to them what's important to you as a soul. You can describe your longing as a soul, your longing for fulfillment in this lifetime, or for some soul-level goals in this lifetime. To describe to this being, because this being's like so hungry to understand who you are and what you want on a soul level. So, tell them your story of this life maybe, challenges that you have, and quite specific things that you need help with. So stay there, everyone. And I just want to say, Sophie, do you want to wrap up the call and allow everybody just to stay here?
Yes, thank you. Yes, we'll wrap up together, and everyone will hang out and take the time they need with their mentor. Thank you for that. Thank you for opening the space for everyone to have time to go as deep as they want, as deep as they feel as going, right? And as detailed and as profound. Thank you. Wow. Okay, coming back, I must say, for those of us who have already experienced working with you, it's always a delight. And I'm one of them. I'm very, as we talked before, connecting. I'm very used to working with you and following you, and yes, it is always a delight, and it is a renewed depth of experience every time. And for those who are new to you, well, that's an introduction, that's a taste, that's a first experience. So let me wrap up the special offer before we get to our special announcement. So your generous offering and beautiful and exceptional and exclusive offering of the Ascension Bundle, Creator Being Healing. It's a bundle of 3 profound and powerful online courses with the Creator Beings. First one is the Uplift on Light, the 7 30-minute audio modules. I want to say, when you were describing the last couple of elements, Alicia, in this series of 7, there were tears coming to my eyes. I was yawning, and I was almost I was experiencing already these having these experiences. And what it meant to me is that I got to sense the magnitude and the depth of the outcomes of these last 2, which are, the soul upgrade, the core soul upgrade, and the creating heaven initiation. So yeah, that's very, very profound for sure. And the second one is the body, mind, ascension, alignment, healing, 1 hour and a half of healing, as you said, deep scrubbing. And then the 1.5 hour workshop aligning with your soul mission. So everyone go to gracefulconnections.com/Alicia5. If you're on the web, click the button or the link. If you're on the replay, scroll down the page. You have all the details on Alicia's special offer and how to purchase it. And now let's get to our special announcement. In addition to this amazing package, Alicia is generously offering a fast action bonus for any purchases by Sunday, May 18th at midnight Pacific. Alicia, please tell us about your fast action bonus, Body-Mind Injuries as Earth Ascends.
So this is a 1 hour conversation channeled from the Creator Beings, talking with a lot of detail about how the worlds of spirit work with the body blueprints. And this moment of alignment of physical body, wounds, emotion, psychology with that background quantum awakening or activation of all the energies in the quantum, the light, what's the word? It's like the light is ascending actually in the quantum. And so our lower physical body, emotional body, psychological bodies are all trying to align. So this is quite a detailed description of what's going on, and also lots of tools, tips to how to work with the worlds of spirit and spirit technicians, and descriptions of how they work in the wiring and the blueprints, the body blueprints. So it's quite powerful, actually. It's quite amazing. Anyway, that's the fast action bonus.
Thank you.
It's a video.
Mm-hmm. And it expires on Sunday, May 18th at midnight Pacific. So that's the extra cherry on the cake, beautiful cake that you're offering to us, Alicia. So thank you for this fast action bonus. Is there any closing words you would like to offer? Are we good? How are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling, I'm beyond privileged to be in this position to offer a little bit of insight to everybody listening that there's help on a soul level for your fulfillment of your soul mission, and your soul purpose, that there's help in fulfilling your soul purpose and your soul mission. And that help, these beings are saying right now, that help is accelerated. It's fast. It's full on. And for those of you who are very hungry to fulfill your soul purpose and your soul mission, you're in the correct hands with the correct team of these overseers, but also their teams that work with them and work with you, because there's speed to result. That's the big message here. If you do have that longing, if you are super hungry as a soul in this lifetime, the speed to awakening is available to you. It's modulated according to your instructions, right? You go, oh, it's too fast, or hey, this is too slow. It's completely up to you, free will. They'll only respond to what you're instructing. But if you're saying, yeah, I want speed, then it's all there. It is the Ferrari. All the speed is there. Just letting you guys know, this huge amount of help to your fulfillment, and completely up to you in a sense with what you tell them, what you want, what it is that you want. So that's the big message.
Thank you. Yeah. I love hearing this reminder that if we want the speed, just raise your hand for the speed, and right, like in a cartoon, you see suddenly, okay, here we go, let's go.
Totally.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Let's take a moment, just a moment, to return to the awareness of the orb of grace surrounding us, allowing it to remain there, holding us, holding all that we have experienced, all that we have received today, all that we're not even yet aware that we have received, allowing it to sink in as we are held in the orb of grace for as long as it serves our highest good, our evolution, and the highest good of all. And I'm closing now by offering my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you, whether you're present live or on the replay. Thank you for joining us today, for answering yes to the calling of grace and the calling to remember you are forever light. Infinite gratitude to our brilliant expert, Alicia Power, for all the wisdom, the guidance, the sacred offerings you have gifted us today. Thank you, Alicia, and infinite gratitude to the Creator beings. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Such a pleasure. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
And gratitude to the Orb of Grace for providing a safe, sacred sanctuary for our journey of exploration. Gratitude for all the grace we are blessed with at every moment. Whether we're aware of it or not, grace offers all the nourishment, the nurturing, the healing, and the insights we open our hearts to receive. Gratitude to our higher selves and all the higher beings who guide, support, and protect us. And gratitude to the divine presence that flows through all, Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Until we meet again very soon, may many graceful blessings shower upon us all. Now, everyone, make sure to resume your time and your conversation with your spirit mentor, exploring what you want at soul level and sharing and asking for and receiving support. Thank you. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, everyone. And goodbye now.